Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Hello my dear students. Today we will take this chapter, A Gift of Chappals. So before we start this chapter, I would like to ask you, have you ever gifted somebody a pair of chappals? Or have you ever received a pair of chappals as a birthday present or a gift? Well, what do you think? Is gifting chappal a strange idea or is it a good idea? That we will read here in this chapter. But before we read, we will read this snippet, what this chapter is all about. Mridu is a young girl growing up in Madras, which is now called as Chennai, with Tapi. Tapi was her grandmother, and Tata, her grandfather. One afternoon, Tapi takes her to her aunt Rukumani's house to meet her cousins Lali, Ravi and Meena. So this chapter is about a young girl Mridu who lives in Chennai with her Tapi. Tapi means grandmother and Tata means her grandfather. So one afternoon her grandmother takes her to her aunt whose name was Rukumani, and the cousins were Lali, Ravi and Meena. I'm sure we all gets very happy when we go to our cousin's place, especially in the summer vacations. We really enjoy there, yeah? So let us read what this story is all about. A smiling Rukumani threw open the door. Ravi and Meena rushed out, and Ravi pulled Mridu into the house. Wait, let me take off my slippers, protested Mridu. So the story starts with when Mridu reached her aunt's house, Rukumani, and when she opened the door, Rukumani, she was smiling already. She opened the door. Ravi and Meena, Mridu's cousins, they rushed out. They happily, hurriedly rushed out of the house, and Ravi pulled Mridu into the house. He was so happy and excited to see his cousin Mridu that he quickly pulled her inside the house. And what happened? Wait, let me take off my slippers. Mridu said, oh wait, control your excitement. Let me at least take off my slippers. She set them out neatly near a pair of large black ones. She set her slippers very carefully and very neatly near a pair of large black ones. A large black pair of slippers were already kept there, so she just put her slippers near those. Those were grey actually, with dust. They were actually not black. I mean, they were black, but with dust they had become grey. You could see the clear mark of every toe on the front part of each slipper. We all must have seen that when we keep our slippers or any kind of footwear which are open in the outdoors, as in our balcony or probably in the veranda, and if the wind blows, a strong wind blows, it's a dusty storm. The storm or the dust settles over the slippers. So what happens when you put your feet or when you put your toe over there, the mark of your fingers, your toe, it comes there. So she could see that every toe was clear. Mark of every toe was clear on that slipper. The marks for the two big toes were long and scrawny. Scrawny means thin, which means suggesting skinny toes. Scrawny means thin, very skinny. So the mark of two big toes, the thumbs of the foot, they were long and scrawny. That means the slippers belonged to somebody who was probably thin. Mridu didn't have much time to wonder about whose slippers they were, because Ravi dragged her to the backyard behind a thick bitter berry bush. So what happened? Before the time Mridu could even think whose slippers it was, Ravi dragged her into the backyard. And why was so? Let's read. in the backyard there was a thick bitterberry bush. Bitterberry is a fruit. So Ravi, her cousin, Mridu's cousin, he dragged her quickly into the backyard behind a thick bitterberry bush. There was a big bush of bitterberry, so he dragged Mridu behind the bush. There, inside a torn football, lined with sacking and filled with sand, lay a very small kitten lapping up milk from a coconut half shell. What did Mridu see there? Mridu saw that there was a torn football. There was a half-torn football which was lined with sacking. Sacking as in a soft cushion, you can say, but actually it is not a cushion. Probably some kind of cloth, a rug, or some pieces of paper, a sack, you can say, or a jute rug. So it was a sack. So in that sack, in the football, half-torn football, which was filled with sand, the sack was filled with sand, lay a very small kitten. She could see that in the sack of that sand, in a half-torn football, a very small kitten was laying, lapping up milk from a coconut half shell. There was some milk in a half shell of coconut, a broken coconut, the outer shell. There was some milk in there, and the kitten was lapping it, as in drinking it. We found him outside the gate this morning. Ravi told Mridu that we found this little kitten outside the gate this morning. He was mewing and mewing. Poor thing, said Meena. Meena was also there, the second cousin, Meena. She said, we found the little kitten outside the gate this morning, today morning. He was just mewing and mewing, as if he was looking for some help. He was kind of helpless. Probably he could not have found his mother. So he was just mewing and mewing. He was so small, probably he was hungry too. Poor thing, said Meena. See, in this picture we can see Ravi, Meena and the little girl Mridu. They all are seeing a kitten. This is the bush, the bitterberry bush, and this kitten is lying in a half-torn football, and he is drinking the milk from this half coconut shell. They all are looking at the kitten. It's a secret. Amma says Pati will leave for our Padu Mama's house if she knows we have a cat. Meena said that this is a secret. Nobody should know that we have a little kitten here. Amma says, the mother says, Pati will leave for our Padu Mama's house. Pati means grandmother. So her mother says, their mother says that the grandmother will leave for Padu Mama's house if she gets to know that they have a cat. People are always telling us to be kind to animals, but when we are, they scream. Oh, don't bring that dirty creature here, said Ravi. So Ravi just wondered that people keep on telling us that we should be very kind to the animals, we should take care of them, we should be very, generous, genuine and generous towards them, we should not harm them, always help them whenever in need, especially if they are hungry. But when we get those animals to our place, they scream, oh, don't bring that dirty creature to our place, or just near us, they don't like it, said Ravi. Do you know how hard it is just to get a little milk from the kitchen? So Ravi described his plight. He wanted to get milk for that little kitten, and he was explaining how difficult was it for him to get the milk from the kitchen. He said, do you know how hard was it to get a little milk from the kitchen? Pati saw me with a glass in my hand just now. So he told everybody that when I was getting milk from the kitchen, Pati saw me with the glass of milk. I told her I'm very hungry. I want to drink it, but the way she looked at me, I had to drink most of it to throw her off the scent. So Ravi was just telling her his story, his experience what happened when he was getting the glass of milk from the kitchen. His party saw that he was carrying a glass, so he wanted to get the glass of the kitten for the glass of milk for the kitten. So just to mislead her, he said, I am very hungry. But Pati is an elder. She would know what the child is up to. She would understand the child is misleading her or probably tricking her. So the kind of look, sheepish look you can say, or a fishy look you can say, the kind of look she gave to Ravi, that was some kind of look. I had to drink most of it to throw her off the scent. As in, Ravi had to pretend, he actually had to drink some milk just to show her that it was actually for him and he was hungry. Throw her off the scent means mislead her so that she won't understand the real purpose. To pretend, to misguide somebody so that they don't get to know what the actual purpose is, what the person is actually going to do. So that is throw her off the scent means. Then she wanted the tumbler back. Pati, I'll wash it myself. Why should I put you to trouble? I told her. And when I drank some milk, Ravi said, then she wanted the tumbler back. Then I was in a fix. So he immediately thought of an idea, and what did he say? Pati, I'll wash it myself. Why should I trouble you? So he told her that I'll wash it myself. You don't be troubled. Don't worry, don't bother. I'll wash it myself. I had to run and pour the milk into the coconut shell and then run back and wash the tumbler and put it back before she got really suspicious. So Ravi further told that I actually had to just run to the backyard, put the milk in that half coconut shell and quickly run back to the kitchen, wash the tumbler and put it back, so that the grandmother, she doesn't get suspicious of whatever Ravi was doing. Now we have to think of some other way to feed Mahendran. Now he says that this way it will be difficult to get milk for the kitten. Now we have to think of some other idea, some other plan to feed Mahendran. Mahendran? This little kitty's name is Mahendran? Mridu was impressed. It was a real name, not just a cute kitty cat name. So when Ravi told that we should be feeding Mahendran and we have to come to some other plan, some other idea to feed Mahendran. So listening to this name Mahendran, Mridu was very surprised and impressed too. So she said, Mahendran? This little kitty's name is Mahendran. It was a real name. It did not suit a kitty, as in we keep very cute names for the cute little kitty cats, but this was a real name. It felt like this name was for some person. So she was impressed and surprised. Actually, his full name is Mahendra Varma Pallava Punnai, MP Punnai for short if you like. He's a fine breed of cat. Just look at his fur, like a lion's mane. And you know what the emblem of the ancient Pallava kings was, don't you? He looked expectantly at Mridu. So Ravi, he explains to Mridu that actually the kitten's full name is Mahendra Varma Pallava Punnai. And if you like, you may call him MP Punnai in short. He explains that the little kitten is a fine breed of cat. Now what is breed? Breed is a particular variety of an animal. So he explains that he is a fine variety of cat, as in something really great. He is a fine variety or breed of cat. Just look at his fur. He looks at the fur of the kitten and then he says, like a lion's mane. It looks like a lion's mane. What is mane? Mane is the long hair which is present on the neck of the male lion. So he says, just look at his fur, the kitten's fur. It looks like as if it's the mane of a male lion. And you know what the emblem of the ancient Pallava kings was, don't you? And then, in a questioning manner, he looks at Mridu and he asks, don't you know the emblem? How does the emblem of the Pallava kings look like? Now, what is an emblem? Emblem is an object or symbol that represents something. Alright, so then he asks Mridu, haven't you seen or don't you know about how the emblem of the Pallava kings look like? He looked expectantly at Mridu. In an expected manner, as if she would know, he looked at Mridu. Mridu giggled. She just, gave a little laughter. You think I'm joking? Well, just wait. Ravi just said, do you think I'm joking? Because Mridu started laughing. So he said, do you think I'm joking? Wait, I'll just show you sometime. It's clear you don't know a thing about history. He understood that Mridu doesn't know anything about history. Haven't been to Mahabalipuram, have you? So he asked Mridu, have you ever been to Mahabalipuram? Have you ever been there? He said mysteriously, as if he knew something about Mahabalipuram and Mridu was unaware of it. Well, when our class went to Mahabalipuram, I saw a statue of his tatas, etc., etc. So he explained, well, we had gone for a trip with our class to Mahabalipuram, and there I saw a statue, a big statue of his tatas, as in grandfather in Tamil. So grandfather's grandfather, grandfather's grandfather, grandfather's grandfather, and then again grandfather's grandfather, as in great grandfather. That is what he wanted to tell, etc., etc. Fact is, Mahendran here is descended from that very same ancient cat. So Ravi tries to explain that this little kitten Mahendran, he is a descendant. Who's a descendant? Somebody coming from that particular family. So he says that Mahendran, this little cat, he comes from that family. When I had gone to Mahabalipuram, there I had seen a statue of his great grandfathers, and he comes from that particular family. A close relative, scientifically speaking, of none other than the lion. So he says that Mahendran is a very close relative, if I speak scientifically, of that lion. The Pallava lion, emblem of the Pallava dynasty. Ravi went on walking around the bitterberry bush, waving a twig up and down, his eyes sparkling. So Ravi explained, this cat is a descendant of that family, and he's a very close relative, scientifically if he speaks, to that lion. Which lion? The lion which is there on the emblem of the Pallava dynasty. Ravi went on walking around the bitterberry bush. So he kept walking around that bush, waving a twig as in a small piece of wood, a very soft and small piece of wood, up and down, his eyes sparkling as in he was kind of happy. He was proud of himself that he had shared a good piece of knowledge with Mridu. This cat is a descendant of none other than the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. Now he says, this cat is a descendant of the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. That particular lion or that particular cat was called as Rishi cat. So he says that he is a descendant of Rishi cat. And if I may just remind you, they worshipped cat in ancient Egypt. Now he says, if you do not know, let me give you this piece of information, that in ancient Egypt, they used to worship cats. So this Mahendran is the descendant of Rishi cat. How he loved the sound of his own voice. Meena and Mridu exchanged looks. What does that have to do with anything? Mridu demanded. Mahendran was very excited. Ravi was very excited. Ravi was very proud of himself to share such information, such knowledge with these two girls. Meena and Mridu exchanged the voices. Mahendran, he loved the sound of his voice, how affirmatively, how confidently he had shared that information. So these two girls, they exchanged looks as in, why is he telling all this? What does it has to do with anything with Mahendran? Mridu demanded. Mridu wanted to ask. I am telling you this cat is descended from the Egyptian cat god. No, goddess. Bastet. Yeah, that's it. Bastet is a ancient cat, or you can say, a big ancient cat. I'm telling you. So Ravi again said that I'm telling you that this cat is a descendant of a goddess cat. First he said cat god, Egyptian cat god. Then he corrected himself that it is a girl cat. So he said no, goddess, a bastet. Yeah, that's it. So one of the girls said, so? Well, one of the descendants of that cat goddess was a stowaway in one of the Pallava ships, and his descendant was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat, whose descendant is... Ravi flourished his twig at Mahendran. MP Punnai here. Whoop! Eek! He shrieked, very pleased with himself. Now Ravi, he explains as if he is very knowledgeable, and he explains one of the descendants of that cat goddess was a stowaway in one of the Pallava ships. Now what is a stowaway? Stowaway means someone who hides himself or herself in a ship or an aircraft to travel unnoticed. Somebody who is hiding in a ship or an aircraft to travel unnoticed. So he says that one of the descendants of the cat goddess was a stowaway in a Pallava ship, and his descendant was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. What is a descendant? A descendant means a person who belongs to the same family or belongs to the same, the descendant was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat, whose descendant is. And then what he does? Ravi flourished his twig at Mahendran. MP Punnai here. He flourished his twig at the little kitten, at Mahendran. Now what does flourished his twig means? Flourished his twig means to wave something in the air so that the kitten would notice. Flourished actually means to wave something in air so that the people notice it. So he waved his twig in front of Mahendran just to, so that Mahendran should notice it and everybody should also notice. This is a kind of representation where he is presenting the kitten. Look, this is MP Punnai, the descendant of the cat goddess. MP Punnai here. Whoop! Eek! And then he makes the sound. He shrieked, very pleased with himself. Shrieked means to make a short, loud noise in a high voice. In a high voice, he made that sound, whoop, eek, as if he was very pleased and happy with himself, with his knowledge, with the kind of explanation he has given to the other girls. Mahendran looked up alarmed. The little cat, the little kitten, he looked up alarmed in a, shocking way. He had just been sharpening his claws on the edge of the coconut shell. We all must have seen cats and dogs, they just sharpen their claws by the end of the edge of the any item, probably the rocks. So this little fellow, Mahendran, he was sharpening his claws on the edge of that coconut shell, the coconut shell he was drinking milk in. But worse than Ravi's awful whoop-eek was a screech from the window. What happened? There was a sound, screech, from the window that was more awful than Ravi's, the sound of eek, whoop, eek. So Mahendran got startled. What was that sound about? What a weird sound! If Mridu was startled, MP Punnai was frightened out of his wits. Mridu was startled. You know, when the sound, creech sound came suddenly from the window, Mridu got startled. Mahendran too got startled. But when Mridu got startled, MP Punnai, which is the little kitten, he got frightened of his wits. Weird sound means strange or unusual, which is generally very not common. Hair standing on end, he bounced up and scurried towards a bamboo tray of red chilies that had been set to dry. Now, because the little kitten, Mahendran, he was very frightened of that particular sound, sudden sound, which was very strange too. What happened? His hair standing as in, we all must have got goosebumps. So, you know, when we get cold or we listen to some scary story, we get, you know, goosebumps here. So this little fellow's hair stood up, as in he got goosebumps. He bounced up and scurried. Scurried means to move very fastly. To move very fast. This little fellow, he jumped up and he scurried, just ran towards a bamboo tray of red chilies. There was a tray kept nearby of red chilies which were actually kept to get dried. He just bounced and scurried. He ran away towards that bamboo tray, trying to hide beneath it. He wanted to hide beneath it. He tipped a few chilies over himself. Just in the he wanted to get beneath the tray to hide himself. The few chilies just tipped over him. Meow! He howled miserably, just in pain, just in problematic voice. He howled. He made that noise. Meow! The creaking went on and on. What's that noise? Said Mridu. That creaking from the window, that sound kept on going. It just went on and on. Now Mridu was wondering, what was that noise? That's Lally learning to play the violin, grunted Ravi. Now Ravi, in a very angry and in a very irritated manner, he said, that's Lally. Lally was their third cousin. Lally learning to play the violin. So their cousin Lally was trying to play the violin. She'll never learn a thing. Now Ravi said in anger, she will never ever learn anything about playing a violin. The music master just goes on playing like a train, whizzing on and on, while Lally is all the time derailing, going completely off track. Now Ravi explained, this girl Lally, she will never ever learn a thing about playing a violin, how to play a violin. The music master, he plays it so nicely, he just goes on and on and on. It looks like, it's like a train, completely in sync. The train is, just going on and on and on in sync. There is no extra noise, no extra noise, you can say. But Lally, when Lally is playing the violin, it looks like the train has been derailed. It is like, suddenly the train has derailed. There is no sync in whatever she is playing. It's very off the track. So Ravi explained all this about Lally's violin playing.